Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I want to talk about the Guyver. This is the Blu-ray from the UK. It doesn't have the DVD for some reason. I think that they must have gotten rid of it or whatever, but just the Blu-ray in the nice thick clamshell they use that takes up way too much room. I got this from a buddy for $13 with shipping, so not a bad deal. It's usually in the $20 to $30 range now, I guess complete. But I sold my DVD, which is out of print, so I actually made a little money and picked this up. This was a favorite of mine as a kid. My grandparents, I remember pretty vividly, had a illegal cable box when I lived in the Bronx. And they had all like Showtime and HBO and all the movie channels, and this came on. I must have been, I don't know how old I was, maybe 11 or 12. And it was just so cool to me. You know, it was like Power Rangers, but grittier, and it had some humor. I loved it. And my friends, Brian and Timmy, grew up with it too. They watched it on Laserdisc, so they loved it. So I picked this up, waited for Brian to be free, invited him over. We hung out and watched the Guyver. And admittedly, it's not exactly how I remember because it's been a very long time since I've seen it. It's much, much goofier than I remember. Lots of jokes and one-liners and silliness. I like Jimmy Walker a lot, but he adds a big goofiness to the film that I just didn't remember was that silly. I do have the Guyver 2 upstairs on DVD queued up to watch today on my day off, so I'm going to watch that as well to see, because I heard that one's a little darker, more serious tone. The other funny part about this, and I don't think it's on the cover, Mark Hamill's in this, and I personally dislike Mark Hamill a lot. I don't think he's a great actor, and I think he's an asshole, to be completely honest. So the covers of the DVDs and like the VHS tapes and stuff has a picture of Mark Hamill with half of his face and the Guyver as the half. He's not the Guyver. He's a detective. He's a pretty poor detective, but he's a detective in the movie. So I think it's funny that they tried to like bank on Mark Hamill's stardom, or whatever you want to call it, being famous, that they used his face on the cover like he was the main star when he's completely not. So the story, now that I've rambled for 2 minutes, is kind of like Power Rangers-y with like these suits and stuff like that, with where they do martial arts and kill each other and all that crap. This alien, like, orb-looking thing gets taken away from this doctor from this, like, secret lab where they're working on stuff, and there's more of a story with the aliens. I don't want to spoil too much. And he's running away with it because he knows something bad's going to happen, and they go after him and they steal it, or they go to steal it, and the main character comes across it, takes it with him. He's getting bullied and beat up at his martial arts school, and he happens to get pushed into the ground and like kind of falls face first, and the orb goes into his head and it takes him over, and he becomes the Guyver, which again is like a gorier version of a Power Ranger. Very cool looking special effects, like things moving around and like fleshy bits that get ripped out when they get hurt and stuff, even though they look kind of almost metallic but organic at the same time. So really cool special effects and gore. I think they said Screaming Mad George, who I looked up recently because he had worked on Don't Panic, had done the special effects on this, so that was something. Brian Usna is a producer who did Society. So there's a lot of cool people attached to this film. I wish it was more serious and not so goofy and tongue-in-cheek, but I do enjoy it still. It's just not one of my favorites like it was when I was a kid, but I think if you're a teen and you watch something like this, you'll probably like it a lot more. My favorite part is probably the gore. I think that they did a really cool job on like pieces ripping off the monsters and the way the monsters look and move. I mean, it looks very, very cool. So the Guyver is a big part of people's childhoods, and this UK Blu-ray is region free. It says it right on the back, A, B, and C, so there's no American release, but if you are a fan of the Guyver, I would recommend this. I think it's a good conversion. It's I think it was a 2K conversion, if memory serves correctly. And there's an interview with Brian Usna, an image gallery, trailers, and a reversible sleeve. And there are also some cast members from Reanimator. Jeffrey Combs is in it, not a huge part. And the bald guy, Mark Berryman, is it? Is it Mark Berryman? From Michael Berryman, excuse me, from The Hills Have Eyes, so you'll know him from Double Dragon and The Hills Have Eyes. So it has a really cool cast, so besides Mark Hamill. So let me know, guys, if you've seen The Guyver, what you thought. It was definitely a childhood favorite of mine. I don't think it aged particularly well, but it's still pretty fun. if you like goofy martial arts movies with a lot of really cool special effects. Thanks guys for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.